Is your global experience a fair trade? Can students and volunteers contribute meaningfully to host communities? That's the promise of fair trade learning. Good global partnerships can advance social and economic development while supporting the learning goals of students and volunteers. Criticism of international volunteering is not new. The ideas behind fair trade learning actually developed because of such important critiques. In Petersfield, Jamaica in the 1990s, the community was interested in partnering with U.S. educational institutions on an approach to community development grounded in community tourism. But visiting students seemed more interested in partying and sightseeing than in true partnership. Eventually, the community stopped hosting visitors. Years later, they worked with organizational partners and scholars to develop fair trade learning standards. Principles designed to ensure that global service and learning partnerships are infused with sustainable development values. What are these fair trade learning principles? First, volunteer projects must be community-driven. Project selection, implementation, evaluation, and decisions about recruitment, representation, and advocacy must develop through continuous consultation with community members. Second, caring should be credible. Any direct service must be guided by the best-known professional practices and protect vulnerable populations. For example, we know from research that short-term volunteers should not work in orphanages, and pre-professional volunteers should not be involved in clinical medical practice. Children and health are too important to be left to one-and-done visits. Third, fair trade learning partnerships are capital conscious. This means that funding relationships are transparent and reinvest in host communities. The UN World Tourism Organization has estimated that only 5% of funds from visiting tourists stay in host communities. When fair trade learning principles are practiced, this number has been above 70%, even including the portion captured by air travel. Surplus funds can be used for scholarships to support volunteers from low-income countries serving and learning in high-income countries, flipping the script on international service. Finally, fair trade learning partnerships intentionally connect participants to civic opportunities to advance global justice, well beyond specific service or volunteering experiences. Many organizations and educational institutions are using fair trade learning to improve partnerships and contribute meaningfully to the real needs of host communities. But until international volunteers and students, the people whose program fees fund most international volunteering organizations, demand fair trade learning, sloppy, one-and-done international experiences will continue to be dominant. Demand better. Visit globalsl.org/FTL to learn more.